Hey, happy Sunday, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. So, looking at a few things here, to me, Tesla continues to look really good. So, you got a weekly squeeze here, you've got a 3-day squeeze, and this all has a really good structure to it. And then even the daily chart has a daily squeeze that's already firing to the upside, and now we're just holding up here at that 8 EMA. So, back to the weekly. We've been in a weekly squeeze really since March or April, so from that perspective, nothing has really changed here, but there is the slight shift of momentum. So you get a couple closes back above the 21. Histogram isn't quite positive, but it's definitely starting to improve, and you do have stacked DMAs and green 10x bars. So, while I like the daily chart and I like the 3-day, the weekly chart here, to me, into earnings up, next quarter. Yeah, October. So this is just an estimate, but earnings mid-end of next October, I do think the weekly squeeze here has the potential to crack you through that 760-ish. And really, at that point, we can see Tesla start to get back into a trend. So, going to be a big focus of mine until the weekly squeeze either makes that move or loses structure. So for the time being, in my mastery, we do have a position down here with put credit spreads, and our short strikes are at 640. So you're down here at -2 ATR. We sold that spread over here in the daily squeeze. So in the short term, if we were to get a dip to the 21, I'm going to quickly look to add to that position. Probably not add to the same position, but certainly look for a little bit more exposure here in Tesla. Probably a early October put credit spread. So I would definitely take the dip here, but with this nice consolidation at the 8 EMA, if you check out the structure of the 4-hour squeeze, the structure of the 2-hour squeeze, you got a 30-minute bunch of lower time frame squeezes here on top of the 8 EMA. Should those start to fire long pretty easily, I think you can see the stock making its next leg higher into, call it 750 plus. So obviously on that move, we'd be taking profits, but if we do get a dip here, I'm looking to buy that dip. But definitely keep your eye on the weekly chart. That's my mindset. Until we lose structure here, with the slight shift in momentum, and then the lower time frames looking pretty solid, I do think there is a potential you start to see Tesla in a bit of a trend. So definitely going to focus on that. And then another spot in the market I'm a big fan of is the industrials. Good quality here to the trend. And now you got a weekly squeeze with stacked DMAs. We have green 10x bars. And inside that weekly squeeze, you have a 3-day. And inside both of those there is a good looking daily chart. So I think into September, October, as long as you're holding up here, pretty much for a weekly squeeze, you're looking for key support at the weekly 21. So I think you give a swing trade plenty of time, but as long as we're holding support here with the bullish structure, I think we can see the industrials making a nice push into brand new all-time highs. So within the group, you have names like Honeywell, which is a beautiful setup here. Weekly 3-day daily squeeze. UMP is another one here with a great looking weekly 3-day daily squeeze. And then you have 3M. So pretty much just mirror images of each other, but I like these trades. When an individual stock, like a 3M, has a weekly squeeze and stacked EMAs, green 10x bars, along with a 3-day and a daily squeeze, and it just so happens to be a part of a sector like the industrials, which have the same exact structure. Those are my favorite trades, pretty much like our trade from a couple of weeks ago in the Mastery, where you had a weekly, daily, 3-day, 4-hour, just a bunch of squeezes in XLF, and then Goldman Sachs here had the same thing. So we're jumping into that daily squeeze, not just because Goldman looks good, but the whole group looks good. So along the same lines there, I do think the industrials and, again, UMP, 3M, Honeywell, into September, October, I think you got potential there. So I like the industrials. And then one more spot here, maybe not as exciting as, say, a Tesla, not as sexy, is real estate. And real estate just has a super clean uptrend here with a really good looking daily squeeze. So we did take a look at this a few times last week in the options room in the Mastery, and it's got a good structure to it. The reason I'm a little bit more interested now after doing my scans this weekend is a lot of the better looking setups that came from the scan results, they're actually real estate stocks, and they're stocks that make up a good chunk of the IYR ETF. So something like an AMT. American Tower, you got your uptrend, you got your squeeze, you got your stacked EMAs, your green 10x bars. So that looks pretty good. Something like a public storage. PSA looks really good here. So the only potential issue is a name like a PSA, a name like an AMT. They don't have the best options. Some of these, real estate stocks, they don't even have weekly expiration, and the spreads are pretty trash. So I think you could kind of simplify the process here and just look to buy some, what we're going to be looking to do in the mastery is buy some maybe Delta 70 in the money calls that expire in September, just with the idea that the daily squeeze can fire along for a push into 109, 110. Just about 2 to 3 ATR. So I like the real estate group here. I definitely like the industrials. I am a big fan of Tesla, the stock, until further notice. And I'm also a fan here of the financials, but I'm going to need quite the pullback. So we got a good move there in Goldman, but we'll take that on the next pullback. And then for all of you tech junkies, because I know there's got to be just a few of you watching here, we do have a beautiful daily squeeze in the Qs. So should this fire to the upside for a push into 2 to 3 ATR, my favorite setup here, which we got a put credit spread on in the options room, is Apple with a beautiful daily squeeze. So definitely keep an eye on technology as well. And then the last thing here to wrap it up, the semiconductors. So my love affair here starts at the weekly squeeze, which I think has a structure that could take you into a nice continued push here into September, October. And you've also got a 3-day squeeze. So all good squeeze action. And now here's a pullback at the daily 21. So names in the semiconductors like a Broadcom, for example, you got such a good looking daily squeeze here as well. So we did take a position in the mastery back on the 12th. We sold the put credit spread. Our short strikes were at 470. We caught precisely $0 worth of price action. But we did buy the spread back for 70% of max profit. So putting a little bit of money in our pocket at this point, we might jump in here looking for another trade because the structure is really good. So that's it for you. I love the weekly squeeze, the 3-day squeeze in the semiconductors. And now with a pullback to the 21, time to start looking to do a little bit of buying here. Love all the squeezes in the industrials. Waiting for a pullback here in the financials. Thinking about buying some real estate calls, some calls in IYR. And until further notice, I'm looking to focus on Tesla here. So if we make a move into 750, I'll be taking profits on that previous trade. If we get a dip here, looking to take a little bit more. So I hope you've had a good weekend. As always, appreciate you watching these videos. So tomorrow morning, I'll be on the mic here for the pre-market prep around 8:45 a.m. Eastern, 7:45 a.m. Central. So definitely check us out tomorrow morning. Check us out at simpletrading.com, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. So I'll see you tomorrow morning for prep. Until then, be good.